Well, the Minister also spoke at that briefing about what the department is doing to strengthen the electricity grid, or to at least help Eskom achieve that goal. Sihle Zikalala is with us now for more on this. A very good evening to you, Minister Zikalala. Thank you for your time. I'd like for us to begin on the issue of the construction mafia. You say efforts are being made, basically, to get rid of these criminals, for all intents and purposes. But you have to wonder why this even still exists when many in the industry have been complaining about its existence for, at the very least, 5 to 10 years.
Yes, I think we have, in the last 2-3 years, began to pay much attention to this criminal act. It emerged initially as people who are looking for work, but it has become clear that these are criminals who want to extort money. We still want to affirm our position. Those who want to enter into construction and property as entrepreneurs will always open our doors, accommodate them, train them to meet the required standards. But those who will go to construction sites to extort money, intimidate and harass, then the only response will be the law enforcement. We have established a call center where construction companies can report if they are intimidated or attacked in the construction sites. We are working with the police, a dedicated unit, to deal with this issue. We're not going to leave it unattended. We're going to deal with it so that we separate those with criminal interest from those who want to participate in the economy.
But do you even know who you are going after here, who the criminals are? Because I remember when this started, you'd hear reports of construction mafia behavior in areas such as Mpumalanga, but now you hear of it pretty much in almost every province. I mean, just recently there was a briefing given by the KZN government where the MEC there was saying things such as the building of a school have been impacted by the behavior of these criminals, yet there's no one brought to book, no justice.
Quite correctly, we will not say we know them, because you find that they will send people, different people, to different construction sites. But the pattern and the trend is the same, and therefore we must be able to investigate based on the trend so that we are able to deal with this once and for all.
And there was an article, in fact, written in July of this year, which said that the headline was this by Media24, 183 projects worth 63 billion rand hit by extortionists. That was just since 2019. The problem, based on those figures, appears to be out of hand. So will a call center and a specialized unit really be able to make any inroads when you look at the scale of what they have to deal with?
Definitely, we are going to combat this. This is a challenge that is facing us, but we're not going to just let it prevail on top of the constructors. We're going to ensure that criminal conduct are dealt with, but we have to transform the industry. The reason why some have argued is that the industry itself has refused transformation imperatives, which is the case in most of the companies, and therefore we would want to ensure that the construction sector is transformed meaningfully to ensure the involvement of blacks in general, but more women and youth and people who are disabled.
By that, do you mean that the people who are holding construction projects ransom are doing so because they want the industry to transform? Are they not doing it because it's an easy way to make a quick buck?
It is, if you approach it from the extortion side. But there are those who are organized to want to be assisted, and those must be assisted professionally and legally so that they are able to participate in this industry as an economic activity.
Mm-hmm. But that speaks to a failure by your government, sir, because it is the same government responsible for making sure that every sector in this country is transformed. And surely people cannot be scapegoating transformation to further criminal interests.
I don't believe you are quite correct, because construction has projects that are public driven. It is better and easy to accommodate and ensure transformation in the public driven project. But in the private project, transformation has been undermined and not prioritized at all. When they build malls, when they build any building that is funded by the private sector without government, the principles of transformation are undermined. And it is important to underscore that, because that is one cry that people have been raising with us.
But is it not dangerous, Minister Zikalala, to merge the two issues? And by that I mean the very valid issue around transformation in the construction space, because there are organizations there and players there, black players, who've come to government, even ministers before you, to complain about the issue, right, or gone on public platforms. Then you've got the construction mafia, who are basically going after even black-owned businesses. We've spoken to construction owners who are black, who say they too are being targeted. So that has nothing to do with transformation if you're attacking another black-owned business and asking for ransom, or you will disrupt the work they're doing.
Well, I think the two are separate, but linked by a cry that, no, the companies that are there in the construction are monopolies. They monopolize the space. They don't conform and adhere to the transformation imperatives. So the cry comes in from that angle. And to separate the two is correct. But to address it, we must be principled. Crime must be addressed as a criminal activity. But transformation must also not be sacrificed. And others have said, no, don't pay attention to issues of transformation. This is about crime, which is correct. Deal with crime, but also deal with the issue of transformation, because it is important.
Okay. Something else that you spoke about today, because we're almost out of time, has to do with applications that you've been granting in the last while for Eskom in some of the work that it wants to do, especially on state-owned land. Tell us more about what the land will be used for, and whether, I know there were more than 40 applications, you've approved 25 or so. What exactly is required from the utility, and will they all be approved, and then what will be done on that land once approved?
We will strive to expedite this. It is the issue of electricity or Eskom servitude, where they will need to build transmission lines. And we will want to ensure that Eskom is not frustrated. We have set up a team that will work on expediting the applications for expropriation, and we will try to ensure that this is done with speed. With the state land or even privately owned, we will have to expedite, because we must support the plans of Eskom to build its capacity.
And what sort of test does Eskom have to pass in order to be granted these requests?
Well, it's a proper application which meets a requirement, and requirements include proving that this will be used for transmission purposes for the national interest and not for any private interest.
So that means that it's not a given, am I right, Minister, that just because it's coming from Eskom, it'll be, quote-unquote, approved on the spot, if you will. So they'll still have to convince you.
No, it will not just be approved like that. We will have to follow all processes, but within a prescribed period, and expedite the process.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. Public Works Minister Sihle Zikalala, good to speak to you. Thank you.